I'm going to show you a battle now where I've done something a little bit out of the ordinary with the Hetzer, the German tank destroyer. First of all, the game doesn't start very well because just a fast forward in here to kind of cut on the waiting time. Because first of all, some tanks start kind of, this is my preferred sniping position with the Hetzer on this map. And as you can see, it's a fairly good position. And then what happens? I just realise, look, what is he doing? Why? And can you see? I'm kind of pushing him. I can't believe that a light tank is actually standing behind me. And look, did you see how he moved me? I couldn't believe it. Just leave me alone. Leave the Hetzer alone. In fact, I can't. I find it really difficult now to find the ideal sniping position, because I've got this tank that's just standing there, and I get so annoyed. And I think in the chat I even tell him to go off, please. Anyway, I found this target, do a bit of sniping there, not very successful, and I just wish this light tank would go. And I have to say, this has really ruined my game, because I can't find a decent position to snipe from. Finally he goes, after having done absolutely nothing. He didn't fire a shot, he didn't do anything. So I finally can take up my sniping position, and of course by now most of the opportunities have gone. That M5 Stuart is hidden behind the house, when suddenly this Panzer 38 TNA appears. I gotta be careful because they've got very good view range, so I'll probably have been spotted there. So I move off immediately, and as you can see, did you see that? I just avoided that shot. It was just as well I moved. And then I finally get a chance at this M3 Lee, but it's very long range, and of course the game doesn't help me, so I miss it. Then he moves. We're winning, but I'm not at all pleased with my game. I feel I'm not doing anything, and I'm extremely disappointed with my performance. Finally that M3 Lee appears again, and oh god, he's behind the train, so some of my shots just don't go through.
That one didn't go through.
And when they do go through, they don't go through the armor. Okay, we managed to at least register one hit. It's not looking good. We're now losing. I feel I've done very poorly in this game, and I wish I could go for that Panzer 1C, but I dare not expose myself. When finally the Panzer 38 TNA appears, and I just can't get to the right position. And now I feel I've got to help that Panzer S35, and of course by doing so I get spotted, I get exposed my side, and I get hit, so I have to leave it. The Panzer S35 gets hit. This battle is just not going well. I'm not at all pleased. And then suddenly I realise that there is the Panzer B2 at our base, completely undefended. I mean, the bases are completely undefended. And so in the chat I say defend the base, and I rush back to defend the base myself. Now this is a bit of a difficult situation because the Hetzer obviously being turretless, I can't do hold down, and because I'm higher, the risk is that I'm actually exposing the lower plate and making it easy for the Panzer B2 to hit me. Now if we can just do that, you can see that if you are just slightly below there, look, you can see the lower plate right there. It's easy for them to aim there and they can penetrate. So this is very risky, not really the best tactic, I would say, but I gotta do something. So here arrives the Panzer B2, and I don't penetrate, which is extremely annoying, but luckily he's been aiming at my top plate, so I managed to bounce his shots. And again, this is risky, and I decide to do something that I never really do with the Hetzer. That is to rush an enemy. I never really do that, but I think I have no other choice. I've got to get back onto level ground, otherwise it's going to hit my lower plate. And I think I take my my rushing, my aggressiveness a little bit too far, because look at what happens now. I rammed it, and then I destroy it, and then hell breaks loose. Look at this, 18 each point left, and then everything happens really quickly.
One of our tracks is damaged. One of our tracks is damaged.
well, I'm being very lucky there. Being very, very lucky, I admit that. But I get rid of them both. Now, I think it's worth showing you this again, because it was a bad battle until then, and all of a sudden everything changes. Okay, so I'm gonna show this in slow motion. I don't penetrate. He misses. It's worth watching this in slow motion because there's so many things happening at once. Then I decide, I try and see. I can't. I don't have enough depression on the gun, so I can't hit it from there. So I decide to just go for it and rush him. He bounces. I manage finally to manage to penetrate. He still bounces. I go for him. I do damage. I ram him. I track him. I'm face hugging him. At that point, he can't do anything to me because his gun is higher than me, and he can only aim at the top of my frontal armor. That's almost guaranteed bounce, and then my track also gets damaged. And then I'm just waiting for the gun to reload, and just as he reloads, I destroy him. But then watch this. The Panzer 38 TNA sees me, and I lose quite a lot of HP there, but I'm still alive, and I also lose a track. But luckily, repairs is quick because I actually use my repair kit. And then just as I turn, luckily, I turn, and his next shot actually goes on my frontal armor and is bounced. I then turn the tank around using the most of my frontal armor, backtrack a bit in order to use the Panzer B2 as cover. They then hit my track, and then again, sorry about this, they miss. Can you see I'm using the Panzer 2 as cover? I don't penetrate there. He's using high explosives. I don't know why. Probably got the derp gun. That shows to you, I'm just going to pause it there, that shows to you how useless it is to have a derp gun. Because whereas it works against lightly armoured tanks, mostly light tanks and some tank destroyers, when you've got in front of you a heavy tank, or a good medium tank, or a tank destroyer with a strong frontal armour, your derp gun does nothing. Did you see that? Just a little bit of damage, that was it, but it couldn't penetrate. So the next thing I do, put it on my sights, and just destroy it in one shot.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Funnily enough, many players use a derp gun because they like to destroy enemies in one shot. In this case, it did not destroy me in one shot. It did not destroy me in 3 shots, and I destroy him in one shot using a normal gun, a normal anti-tank gun. So that just goes to show something. Anyway, there's not really much else to show in this battle because by then my teammates are going to the base. I am actually really battered up, only 7 HP left, so I'm only kind of going there for for showing my face really, but there's not really much I can do because the Lux is actually being chased by 3 tanks and he dies. And that was a good battle, but especially a battle where again I played the Hetzer in a way that was a bit daring, a bit kind of audacious, but it paid off. And yes, I was lucky, I agree, but I did do the right moves at the right time. Thank you for watching.